Hi, welcome to episode 97 of the Yarnivore Podcast. It is February 3rd or 4th-ish. Still my second cup of coffee. Bear with me. I had to wake up early this morning to record because it's a busy day. That is not because the Super Bowl is on. I didn't even know the Super Bowl was on until I checked Plurk this morning. And I was like, oh, it's Super Bowl day. Huh. Not big into football. Sorry. I'm all about the hockey. Last night was hockey. I did not watch hockey. I was busy. So be it. I'm Sadie. I will be your host. There's a Petrie running around. She will be my co-host. Bebop is currently crashed out on one of the projects I'm going to show you. Welcome to my life. Let's jump right in, shall we? Finished objects. I have them. I decided that turning out one snuggle a week was not acceptable in any way, shape, or form. So I went to town on the grandma's favorite dishcloth pattern, and I made 3 snuggles. The ends are not woven in, so be it. This is the first one. It's a tri-color. Actually, it's a 4-color, because this is gray and white, this part is blue and white, and this part is brown on tan. Either way, I think it's a 24-inch, so be it. That's one. I will throw them on you if you stay there, Petrie. This is a little guy. I think it's 14 by 14. The measurements are approximate. Note when making snuggles, the measurements are only guidelines. For the purpose of posting, pick the closest size to whatever you've produced, but really, they'll take anything. This one is 3 colors. It's got the white, and I double-stranded that with some red heart here, and more red heart over here. I think it's cute. I think it's comfy. It's very cushy. I ended up doing these on, I believe it's a US 13. Don't quote me. I'm just calling it ridiculous. And this is a big one because, of course, you have to get your big snuggles in. And this is the white, yet again, which was a, what did I use? Lady Fair Shetland Chunky, which, of course, is older than me. The orange is Bernat Satin. And the brown is Red Heart Super Saver. So I got 3 snuggles done. A small, a medium, and a large. Who knew? So those are done, which brings my total up to 21. Meow. My goal is 30. I figure I can do that by the end of February. I really do. So, still my goal. To meet my goal, I have to turn out 9 more. Pete, you can't. You can't headbutt the computer while I'm recording. You know this annoys people. This conversation we have every time, it annoys people. Petrie doesn't really care. Go forth. I just fed her. So I did finish those snuggles. I feel like I've got on my face. Thank you, Petrie. I'm full of cat hair now. And then right before I recorded, actually there's a bit of a story with these. Last night I VKN'd for the first time in ages, and that was fun. And I really haven't had time to VKN lately because generally by the time I get home I'm done. Well, that was my last job. This job, not so much, but packing and getting ready really takes time out of me, and quite frankly, my evening is my honey time. I'm not gonna lie, he makes me sane, and if I do not talk to him or text him or, hang out with him in some way in the evenings, it feels weird. So the key to a happy Sadie really is just to make sure she has her her partner in crime time. But he was working late, so he had called and gone off to bed, and I was like, I'm still awake. Okay, seriously, Pete, we're gonna have an argument. And there's a VKN going on. I had some technical difficulties, which I managed to iron out. It was nice meeting everybody. Kimber Lolly, Meltran, Fifi Kins. Oh, I'm forgetting everybody else. And Karen was there for a bit. Happy birthday, Karen. Not that you watch, but happy birthday anyway. And I was working on finishing my Gandalf socks. And I had 20 stitches left on each side on the toe. So I decreased about half the stitches, and I was falling asleep. So I was like, whatever, going to bed. Went to bed. Woke up this morning, and I was like, screw this. I am finishing the toe before I start recording the podcast. And I did. So I finished my Gandalf socks. Now, because I'm recording at an obscene hour in the morning, which is actually 9:18, but I've been up since 8, which is really early on a Sunday for me. The colors are true. So you can see the gorgeous pattern here. Isn't it gorgeous? It is knit out of Malabrigo sock in the Carabino colorway. I used US 1s, I believe. I used what the pattern called for, which I believe is the US 1, the 2.25. It was not a 0, and it was not a 1.5, so I'm going with 1s. I did the large. The large came out a bit big, so I decided that if I reknit this pattern, I'll reknit the small for myself. It does fit quite nicely on the calf. It's just I prefer it to be tighter. I prefer my socks to be tighter. Some people don't like tight socks. I like tight socks. I like my socks to hold onto my leg. I don't want them sliding or slouching or anything. I'm kind of meticulous when it comes to my socks. Seriously, I have sock issues. So these are for my honey, my partner in crime, and he will enjoy them. I augmented the pattern in that I did a slip stitch heel instead of a patterned heel as it calls for. There's Petrie hair everywhere, and I bet some of it's mine. And I didn't check on the toe. I think I did the toe as the pattern called for it. I did not put the patterning on the toe. However, I really wanted to after watching Gentle Ribbing and seeing hers where she was going to put pattern on the toe. And I was like, that's ingenious. And then I didn't. Because I already had a sock done. It's my story and I'm sticking to it. So I do actually have an FO, and I have to make sure that I move it from my works in progress to my FOs in my show notes. Otherwise, I will be like, hey guys, I finished these next week, and they will have already been finished. However, they are done. They are done. They are done, dun, 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 dun. I'm not going to block them. He does not get them blocked. He can put them on his feet and block them that way. Block them that way. Yes. Most of my day was spent cataloging boxes. And people may think I'm neurotic for cataloging boxes. I am not doing this out of my own free will. In order to cross the border with anything I own, I have to catalog every box and everything that's in every box. So everything that was previously packed, I had to unpack. I didn't actually unpack it. I didn't actually unpack it. I just opened it and surveyed what was in there. And then wrote it down, and I have an Excel spreadsheet. And when it comes to organization, I'm very good at it. I live in clutter 90% of the time, but I know where everything is. So, yeah. I got this closet. I'm not sure if you can see this closet, but I got this closet completely emptied. I have the closet in my bedroom to completely empty. And at that point, I will be 2/3 of the way done. Probably over 2/3 because I did pack 90% of my kitchen. However, I've come to the conclusion that while I've gotten rid of a lot of my stuff. Like a lot of my stuff. 75 to 85% of my life has gone out my door or is on its way out my door right now. Because it's like, yes, you could have this computer desk at the end of February. Yes, you could have this bed at the end of February. Everyone can have what they want at the end of February. Preferably the last week. I don't want to sleep on the floor. So there's a lot of stuff still here that I know is going away, but then I look at the stuff I am taking and I'm like, oh my god. It's a lot of stuff. It's actually not. And most of it is knitting. I'm really paranoid that the border guards are going to think I am harboring enough yarn, paraphernalia, and baking pans that I'm going to start some weird yarn bake shop, which would be entertaining. Before I move into works in progress, I am wearing a finished object. Someone's claw got me. I'll stand up a little so you can kind of see it. There's the pattern here. Yeah. Probably just giving you a solid boob, aren't I? Oh well, suck it up. There you go. And you may have seen my pajama pants. In lieu, that was probably not the best move. Oh, whatever. You saw my pajama pants? There's no holes of... Nothing you can see that's bad. Skeleton pajama pants. Anywho, this is the Rosamond. Would I call it a cardigan? It's also got the detailing down the sleeves. I knit this like 4 years ago. Seriously. 3 or 4 years ago. It was one of my first sweaters. It was a birthday present to myself to buy the yarn. It is knit out of Knit Picks Swish, I believe. It takes a licking and keeps on ticking. It shed like the dickens for the first little bit, but now it's like chilling out. The buttons I got off of my sister-in-law's old sweater. She gave me 2 sweaters that she really didn't like, and one of them was wool and I hacked it apart and then I repurposed the wool. The other one was definitely acrylic, so I stole the buttons and said, ta-da! It's comfy. Does the trick. It's a good knit. I recommend it if you are looking for a short sleeve cardigan. And it's free. It's free on Rav. Okay, works in progress. Let's start here, shall we? I finished panel B, number 3, on the cabled monstrosity, which means I have one more left to go. And I am leaving this one out because I have this panel, the panel C, which I have cast on. I have not gotten far. As you can see, I've gotten I haven't even finished a full repeat yet. This is panel C. It has to be the same length as panel B. Now, not having known that before, I'm probably going to have to rip back my other panel C's and add a repeat or something when I'm doing them, but whatever. I'll do that as I'm seaming everything. I'm sorry, the barometric pressure here keeps changing, so I am snotty beyond all recognition. Seriously, it was minus 50 Celsius one day, which is minus 58 degrees Fahrenheit. I looked it up for everybody. It was minus 45 the day before, minus 40 the day before that, and now it's like minus 10. So you just boop, boop, and now, yeah, my head's paying the price. Oh well. So I am still working on the cabled monstrosity. I got this one done. I think I had the one cable left to do, and I do really like this cable. I mean, for all the evilness that is in this cable, I enjoy it. I enjoy the finished product. And I am one of those crazy people who will knit something they don't like knitting because I want the end result. Just so you know. Started the panel C, of course. if you missed out on the original showing a million times, I am doing the sampler Afghan, which is the cover of the hardcover edition of Cables Untangled by Melissa Leitman. It is a giant cabled monstrosity done in panels and then seamed together. I have finished one complete panel. It has been seamed together. I have come to the conclusion that those are actually children. They must be, because mine is not that big, and I get gauge. However, I screwed up the panel, but still, I wonder if it'll get bigger now that I'm fixing it. But, yeah, children. It's got to be children. Probably isn't. It's probably really tiny adults. Either way, working on panel 3. Once panel 3 is, see, they're knit in quadrants. So you've got quadrant 1, quadrant 2, quadrant 3, quadrant 4, and in those there are A through F panels. Set number 1 is done, quadrant 1 is done and seamed together. Quadrant 2 is done. Once quadrant 3 is done, quadrant 2 will get seamed together, and then quadrant 4, quadrant 3. You see where I'm going with this? You see. I don't have to explain. I've explained it 80 times. You don't need it again. Okay, moving on. I apologize for any coughing if I blow out your ear sacs. I just called them ear sacs. What is wrong with me? Bebop. Come in. Come on. I understand you want to lay on it, but you can't right now. Mommy has to show it. Thank you. I'm so dejected, the poor thing. The chamber sheen, chambition. I'm not going to show you the picture again. You've seen it like 8 times. Seriously. As you recall, the back was done. And there are my hood neck stitches. The back is done. The part that Bebop likes to sleep on. He will pick it up with his little teeth and pull it out of the bag if it's in the bag. It's kind of ridiculous, stupid, cute. Ridiculous, stupid, cute. That's a new term for me. You had seen it when it had one side done. It now has both sides done. The front flaps. So the entire front is done. Done! I kind of motored on it. It was, everyone else is knitting sweaters. I think I should too. That's what happened there. So I finished the front half. And, don't fall off your chair. Probably seeing a lot of my butt today. I also apologize for that. And in my knitting's my bag, covered in cat hair, but full of witchy, batty, crowy, raveny goodness. I started the sleeves, and I cast it on to do 2 at a time. I have never done 2 at a time anything before in my life, but I was like, that way they'll be the exact same size and the exact same length, and all the decreases will be in the exact same spot. That is awesome. And then I don't really have to think, and really, I have 2 balls. I can start with 2 balls. I'll be fine with 2 balls. 2 balls, fine. That's right, I just said 2 balls, fine. So, I cast on 2 sleeves. That's what's on here. It's not very impressive. I have about an inch and a half, maybe 2. I can measure it for you. Here, hold on. I have an inch and a half. I have an inch and a half, and I have to knit to 5 inches. But, so I'm doing 2 sleeves at a time. We'll see how that works out. See if I hate it. See if I'll never do it again. Or see if it's something that I will start doing regularly. Not 100% sure. It's good, it's mindless, it is pleasurable. And there are 3 different needle sizes I am using on this. The 3.25, the 3.5, and the 3.75. Those are all in millimeters. Don't make me look up what they are in regular. I think it's 4, 3, and 3. No. 5, 4, 3? Either way, it's being done out of the Patton's Croy 4-ply, which is, again, older than me. Came from my aunt's stash in the sea glass colorway, or color number 412, lot number 6. There is a whole splunket of it, and I will probably have some left over, and then I will make socks, but they won't be socks for me. Hell no. Why? Because after you knit that much in a color, you don't want to make socks that match it. Just saying. Just saying. I'll probably, If I do make socks afterwards, they'll be for the partner in crime. They will. So be it. Let me put this all back in its bag. Watch Bebop try and steal it out. Like 2 seconds. See, it all fits. This is actually, I think this is the small bag by Knitting's My Bag. So really, you can't go wrong with getting Knitting's My Bag bag. You can just cram stuff in there till the day is done. It's a good thing. Of course, in keeping with my 1 snuggle a week is not acceptable. I'm sorry, there's going to be a lot of bending. Everything's going to hell in a handbasket here in Shea Sadie, and let's just expect that to keep happening until I move, okay? I started snuggle, I suppose this would be snuggle number 22. I went down to actually I just pulled up a random needle. It's a 10, a US 10, which is a 6mm knitting needle. It is out of, I am 2-plying Baycrest Ultra Sail by Canadian. That's the only time I've ever seen that. 100% acrylic. Again, from my aunt's stash. It's a gray. And I'm stranding that together with, Mom bought this for me so that I could make more snuggles because I was running low on colors. And I was stranding white, and I'm stranding gray, and I'm stranding tan, and I'm like, I do not want to give small cats white, or I don't want to give dogs white. Like, really? White? Well, if you have white, it works, right? But, I didn't want to knit that much white, and I knew I wouldn't be able to keep it clean until I gave it away. So there you have it. Bernat Premium. All the best you can get at Walmart, eh? Knitting worsted in the color lilac. It is actually shockingly soft. I would use this to make an Afghan for myself because then I could like throw it in the washing machine. I tend not to make wool blankets. Wool blankets, just no, bad move with the washing machine. And quite frankly, I have enough cats and enough mess of my own that I need to be able to wash my stuff. So the Bernat Premium, 100% acrylic, and worsted, and yeah. Striping that together with the Baycrest Ultra Sail. It's coming out nice. It's a very feminine purple. I'm sure it'll be awesome. Last but not least, something you haven't seen in a while. You know what this bag means. You do, you do. Oh, and for the record, just so you know, Steve, my pocket's that big. What does that say about me? And it's good and deep. It's a deep pocket. That's actually the big pocket. There's a small pocket and you can't get 2 fingers in there to save your life. I think it's for holding a crochet hook. Or maybe really tiny knitting needles. And then there's one that's 2 fingers wide. So I've got a lot of pockets in different sizes, but I just wanted you to know. They range from a 4-finger spread to wiggling in 1. So, there you have it. If you went to the dirty spot, that's your own damn problem. I actually give myself the explicit tag irregardless of if I swear or say anything questionable, just because it's like my overarching thing. So I got, I'd say, a third of the way through chart 6 of the In Dreams Mystery Shawl, which is the wedding shawl. I am knitting it out of this. It's pretty true to color right there. It's a very shaded blue. It is the Blue Lobster colorway in Highland Handmaid's Black Cherry Lace. And I am using size 8-0 glass seed beads. And let's see. I have to be able to show it to you properly. Here we go. So I put the green lifeline in where you had last seen it. So that's how far I've gotten. It's about a week's worth of work there. It is speeding up because the amount of beading is decreasing per row quite nicely. However, there are no more rest rows, because in this part over here, you need to create stitches by knitting the front and back on the back side. So there really will not be a rest row to save my life until this is over. And chart 8 is pretty much solid beading, so chart 8 is probably going to take a month. I think it's chart 8. The last chart is chart 8 or chart 9. Hold on a sec. Notifier. I have to pause you. Hold on. Okay, I'm sorry if the giant glitched my notifier for my Viva crop.
Anywho, looking up which chart that one is. The last part of the whole thing is pretty much beading. There you have the flower motif here, finished. So the edge of here, finished. They have some more. Really is a lot. Just to finish chapter before I find some. Heads up on the snuggle. You can donate. You don't have to donate them specifically to organizations that are identified on the Snuggles website. However, you should tell the organizations to get on the Snuggles website. Snuggles website takes a little while to get something up, and they're a nonprofit organization. A lot of them are the head show, so yeah. If you call a shelter or if you know of a rescue that will take them and use them, that's good enough for me, personally. In this whole show, do what you want. I don't mind. I really don't. Just give them a heads up that the Snuggles website does exist so other people can get stuff to them. It's really my only thing. And if they've emailed the Snuggles website, then they're going to get on there eventually, and it just takes a little bit of time. Also, I already talked about sizes, but I have that in miscellaneous. So really, I'm touching on all points here. Wanted to do some quick thank yous. I got wrapped this week. I really don't care if you don't want to hear about it, because I just want to say thank you to a few wonderful people. From Mr. Dramatic Knit Steven, I got the Mix-a-Lot socks, which I really wanted to try because, as you can see, hopefully that's not too blown up. I'm taking this down for right now. Put it back up in a minute. Yeah, those work. They are socks that you can knit in a multiple of colors or as a bi-color, and I like that. I really appreciate that. So you could use up some nice coordinating scraps there. From the lovely Miss Lemon Song, I got the Pro Knit Skewist design. So that's by Leslie from the Knit Girls. It's the Make It Work shawl, which I've wanted to knit since it pretty much came out. It is 3 sizes, so you can do a small, medium, or a large. And I will probably do the small, just saying. And from my future mother-in-law, you wish your mother-in-law was that cool. Congratulations for selling my house, and just because she's awesome. I had seen this in the
Fat Girl Speaks podcast. She was talking about Westie's Besties. Westie's Besties. Cal book. I was like, I want that. And I hadn't even had a chance to really articulate the want, verbalize it, put it in a queue or anything, but she sent that on to me. And apparently the hat made her think of me. This hat. Come on. There we go. And I actually really want to make that hat because I think I could rock it. And I like the little strip of color work. I like the fact that I don't have to weave in any ends. They added a color feature. If you haven't seen this, right there on the brim, where you see that little green thing running down the side, that is the ends of the color work that are woven through the cabled band to add an accent detail. I love it. I don't have to weave in ends. So I'm totally going to make that from there. So I wanted to say thank you. Thank you guys. You guys are awesome. Big love. Big love. Open my show notes again. Oh yes, I'll put this here for right now. Now I picked up the latest issue of Knit Scene. Which is apparently Hello Spring. They didn't get the memo. Spring has not sprung in Canada. Anywho. Apparently I was so entertaining last time I reviewed one of these that I decided to give you a ponce through it with me. Ponce? I don't even know if I used that word right. But pounce. We'll pounce through it. We'll skip merrily through the book, shall we? Not the book, the magazine. Seriously, it's 9:44 in the morning. What do you expect of me? So this hat, as you can see, I put a post-it. I'll remove my post-its as we go along. This hat, I like this hat. I don't like the model wearing it, and I think it makes her look like she's got like this weird, demented, oversized head problem going on. Like, seriously, her head is bigger, like 4 times bigger than her face. But I like the hat. I like the hat. I'm going to point out a few things here for you. They have a very nice thing on I-cords. The 7 ways to use the I-cord. I like that. I don't necessarily like what they've given us to work with in terms of the I-cord. I do like the applied I-cord bib. I don't like the idea as an adult I would wear a bib, but I don't necessarily think that's a bib. If I knit it, I'm definitely not calling it a bib. Just saying. I may not knit it. That was not a selling point for me. Here's an OMG WTF BBQ for you. What do you think that model? What do you think that model is promoting there? Aside from really bad eyeshadow choices. Just curious. What do you think? What do you think? It's the gloves. You've got a full body picture. You got all of this woman going on here. And it's this tiny little glove. They don't even show both of the gloves. Oh yes, they do. But it's like right in the crack. It's in the crack of the book. Seriously? Seriously? Way too much of a picture for gloves. Way too much of a picture for gloves. And stupid eyeshadow. Like, I'm not going to be paying attention to the gloves, which are actually kind of cool, when you've got stupid eyeshadow. And if you go to the back of the book, they actually have a picture, like, you know, they put the little pictures above the pattern. They have a little picture of the actual gloves. It's just a hand shot with gloves. It's like, why didn't you put that as the picture? Anywho. And of course, you can look stylish with your back to everyone. Yes, that's right. Needed a whole picture of her rump just to show off that. Seriously, Knit Scene, get a grip. Get a grip. I don't get it. You're not a fashion magazine, you're a knitting magazine. You're not Vogue Knitting. Trust me, I wouldn't buy you. Vogue Knitting, for some reason lately, has taken into the 80s We're Psychotic thing. I do like this spread here. I like the shawl. Can't really see the shawl, as they're apparently all women traipse around trees in skirts and cardigans, because I know I get dressed up to go slumming around trees. When I want to go out into the wilderness, I think, hey, preparedness is wearing a lace shawl and a skirt. Just my opinion. The cardigan's not too bad. I like the button detail, but quite frankly, it looks a little meh to me. There's some nice basic cardigan sweaters in here. Now, the reason I bought the book, and yes, one pattern is the entire reason I bought the book. Well, not the book, the magazine. You know what I'm talking about. And that is the Edelweiss cardigan, which I did check, and I will check again for us right now. Hold on. I love how they're style spotting the flapper look, and that was started last year. Way to go, guys. You're only a year behind. Where the heck? Where are you? Okay, I think you're after that. Maybe? Maybe no. Before that. Haha. And you know, it's sad when I'm standing there in the bookstore going, it has my size. The Edelweiss cardigan goes from a 34.5 to a 49. It's shown in size 34.5. It does not look like it indicates whether or not you want to have any ease, which is always lovely, but whatever. And it's steeked. Oh well. I enjoy this cardigan. I will probably knit this cardigan. Just saying. I really like it. Not in those colors. Those are just a little too light for me, but it's and the pictures aren't that bad. Except I have no idea why everybody's like fainting and falling asleep and apparently laying down. Laying down, falling asleep. There we go. Which just makes her boobs and her ribs look off, but oh god, I am wearing a sweater. Because apparently that's how I see it. But I enjoy it. It's a steeked raglan cardigan. Of course, it's steeked because of the color work. I like it, though. I really do like it. Also wanted to go back up a little further ahead here, just to show you this. Because I want to know, A, what she's wearing under it, because it doesn't look like much, and B, someone tell me who's knitting this. I want to know who's knitting that. I want to know right now, and I want to know, seriously. This is not a fashion magazine, people. I know what I'll do. I'll knit myself a jumper that has a giant vagina on it. Because tell me that doesn't look like she's showing off a map of Tasmania. Seriously? It's like arrows. Arrows. I do like this one. I knit it shorter. Gotta love the armpit on that. Gotta love it. Anywho, it is a good magazine to pick up and flip through. Apparently it has something to do with beads, lace, and luxe yarn. Big ideas for cool projects. Yeah, whatever. The I-cord part is really interesting. I did read that. Modern flapper style is kind of stupid. The Behind the Maker Fair was really fun. The cover sweater is cute if you are a twig and you have no breasts. Probably knit it for a gay man. Like a really skinny, flaming gay man. It's probably the only person I could get away with knitting it for. Anywho, check out Knit Scene, the spring edition, the special issue for Hello Spring, spring 2013. At least flip through it at your local store and have a giggle. Look at the dress. Look at the dress. Think of vaginas. There, that's my explicit tag right there. That's what that is. I've already told you about moving. Moving is evil. It's gonna get even more evil. I have so much paperwork to do. It's very insane. And of course, thank God for partner in crime. Like, he has been very good about everything. He is amazing. And he's mine. Ha. I also wanted to say thanks to everybody who's put up with my moving crap on Plurk, in real life, everywhere. Trust me, the little cozy emoticons and the little gym emoticon and just, you know, look at you go. The encouragement is really helpful. And for everybody who has come along this way with me, thank you. And I will be so appreciative when I'm safely snuggled away in Minneapolis. Or actually, Bloomington, Minnesota. But Bloomington is a suburb of Minneapolis. I really don't understand how the states work. I just want to say Minneapolis, but it's Minnesota. I'll be in Minnesota. Good enough. There is no music this week because I haven't listened to anything new. Honestly, it's just been playlist after playlist trying to get the wedding playlist down because I'm probably going to make a wedding CD. Packing, lots of packing. The new Tragically Hip. It's my life. There will be no March for the Lord of the Rings knit along. See, I knew I was getting somewhere. We will finish off Gandalf in February. We'll take a break in March. We'll start up again in April. There will be a thread open during March so we can vote on the next sock. And of course, I will draw a random person and gift that pattern away. Aside from that, Snuggles thread will be locked on the last day of February right before I move. And then I will draw about a week after. There will be no podcast the first week of March. The week after that, I'll do all the drawing stuff. And hey, Becca lives in the area, so maybe I can suck hole Becca of Knit Bites, or Pinfish, or Bika on Ravelry. Team one up. Into coming over and helping me. Probably can. Probably. So, yeah. Stay tuned as Sadie goes more insane over the next month. And my house looks even worse than it does. I know you can see my sweater. There's a sweater. There. There's a dog toy. Another dog toy. A lot of dog toys. He's a happy dog. Alrighty. So, until next week, I will see you. Keep knitting those snuggles. And Blue Rune on Ravelry. We Shoot Stars on Plurk. Come join us on the Yarnivorous boards. It is the Yarnivorous boards because Yarnivore was taken. Apparently, it is a knitting shop in Texas-ish. If you need to get a hold of me, you can email me at Dirty Jeans, which is actually a song, and that's where my nickname comes from. Yeah. Have a great week.